Hey guys, what's up? I just lost a bet. I'm Zach.
Derek,
Robbie.
I thought there was going to be a big reveal at the end.
there was. It was that steep game, but it wasn't what any of us had predicted.
Steep. I'm not interested.
It looks cool, it's beautiful, and I mean it has all the fun stuff from like the X Games that you would see. Paragliding, snowboarding, skiing. But it's just nothing that I really wanted to play on a game. Like I would love to do those, some of those. Base jumping not so much, but in real life I would love to ski down the slopes and stuff like that, but not in a game.
This is a game that is a GameFly game or a Red Box game that you play for 2 weeks, maybe, max.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Like I said, y'all, I was like, this would be awesome if this was a core mechanic of a game, but a game based solely on, you doing all these challenges and all of that. That's like a little bitty part of a game, in my opinion.
There are two takeaways I had from this game. Is the obvious one, it's a typical Ubisoft game, big, open world,
Yeah.
do what you want to and it kind of thing. It's pretty much become their MO as a company. And, they have all these beautiful vistas and they have all these vantage points and it has the checklist stuff like do have this number of
Yeah.
drop zones, do this number of challenges. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's also it'll be a fine game on the market for the simple fact that SSX has not been a thing for EA for years now. Like that last SSX game probably came out when 2011.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since that happened.
So there's not been a snowboarding game on the market to actually give players something else to
Yeah.
do outside of the typical like every once in a while a World Cup or an Olympic Games. Like there's not been a extreme game type thing until this one.
Now, one cool thing that I would have loved to see with this game was like VR. Like if that was a VR
Yeah.
game, that would have been amazing to be completely immersed in that world.
So
But it's not.
Yeah, if there was something that was tying everything together, I could see me liking it more, but it's just something that's there. It's not anything that, and that's why I made the bet.
yeah, that there was going to be one more thing.
There was going to be one more thing.
And as
'cause
soon
that's
as
what
I
they're
saw
known
them,
for.
well, yeah, and that was their one more thing because Aisha Tyler said that it's like we have one more game to show you, and we're going to have our head producer Yves Guillemot come out on stage and talk about it. And then when she's like, "Let's bring everyone who should come on stage today," and at that point I was like, "That's it." Like there's
Well, I
that
thought it was
Steep
gonna-
was the one big game.
I thought it was going to be like, okay, guys, we've done all of these awesome things, and we've had 30 years of all these great games to come out under our banner. We have one last thing, and then it'd be just like something that, and that would have been the best part to do, like Beyond Good and Evil, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Is to, but hey, you
But-
win some, you lose some.
But
You
let's
gotta take your lumps like a champion,
Yeah.
and you did. So
Yeah.
good job, sir.
I'm not,
no. I mean, it was a last minute thing anyway, so it's not
Yeah.
anything big.
I
but-
was like, give me some free Chick-fil-A.
But let's get on to some more interesting things, and let's start with, you mentioned banners, so let's talk about one of the bigger things we were looking forward to, and that was For Honor.
For Honor looked great.
They
come out
showed the
with-
storytelling aspect this time around.
Yeah, storytelling, trying to get to where that is. They showed that there is actually, last year they showed the
Multiplayer.
side of it, and I think with the Evolve and the several other games that have come out that had just the multiplayer side, they were like, okay, we need to steer this towards something else. So they've put a
They didn't wait till the second installment. They just said from right out the gate, let's just
Yeah.
have story and that's it.
I like that. Thank you for doing that, Ubisoft. That's great course correction. They're going to have the Alpalane, something like that.
I'm about to say, it's going to be like the main point of the story is this
This woman is, and her Blackstone
faction.
are the ones that are, causing all this war.
Poking and doing all the prodding.
Probably trying to progress this war forward.
Because you saw, like, even the bloodthirsty Viking put his axe down. They were like, all right, we can...
And
we
she's like, can't have this.
Yeah. So, seeing all of that, the game looks freaking gorgeous.
It does.
When they were showing the campaign, you get to play as the Vikings, the Knights,
Samurai.
and
Samurai.
the samurai. So they showed the Viking side of it. I'm sure that's just one mission of it. When you're a raider and you're going into the samurai's territory to attack them. Game looks great. You brought it up. I was thinking it before you brought it up, but a lot of Rise in there.
Yeah, I'm about to say the first moment when they actually panned out the gameplay, and especially those little red blips,
yeah.
I was like, my thoughts went immediately back to 2013 when we first saw the new gameplay of Rise. I'm like, this has Rise, a lot of
All
influence
over
from it.
Yeah.
So,
And I loved Rise. Rise was a fun game. I think they could have done so much more with it, and I would love to get a sequel from it. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't think we'll
definitely.
ever get that,
no.
though.
But no, I do like For Honor, and it is coming out. I thought it would be, at the pre-show, I said, all right, one of it's going to be October, and Ghost Recon would be March, and half right, but they at the end of the presentation they said that For Honor will be February 14th of next year, and it'll be you can get your Viking on while having Valentine's Day.
Yeah, raping and pillaging, just like any person on Valentine's Day. And you can join the alphas. They have a lot of alphas going on.
Yeah,
so.
the open registration, I think they said is starting now or starts later this week, but the alpha itself will actually come later.
Yeah. The conference was quite long. Do you have anything else for For Honor?
No, I mean, for Ubisoft, and not having like Assassin's Creed there.
Far
Other than
Cry.
the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 hours for that.
2 hours
was
of
just
Aisha
sad.
Tyler.
She wasn't as bad this
No.
year.
No.
She's been way worse in the years past. Just Dance.
Started the conference, got that out of the
Weird.
way.
I'm glad they took maybe 3 minutes of the conference out for that.
And no Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
They just came out, had this like Cirque du Soleil type performance, and just like, it's out October. See ya.
It was like an acid trip. Will be out October, so if you like that game, you can check it out. One of the things that was pretty interesting was Ghost Recon Wildlands.
That was pretty much my Battlefield or Gears of War
Yeah.
for this conference. That they showed, all these CG trailer. They showed another CG trailer, and then they actually got into the gameplay. And the one thing I will always knock Ubisoft for, especially like their multiplayer stuff, is the group chat when it's like a multiplayer or co-op centric game is so cheesy.
Yeah, it's very scripted. It would be like, if it was actually happening in real life type deal. Not
If they were
people
playing out a movie.
If it was people actually in the field doing that.
Yeah.
But
What we
as
saw.
gamers,
Yeah.
we would not be talking about that.
No.
What's interesting is the story.
Yeah.
Cocaine. Everybody loves some cocaine. We up in here in the Silver Dust District. There has been a faction that takes over Bolivia that has the cocoa, whatever it is.
The cocoa plant, and that's pretty much they want to become the only area to have and be the supplier
Yeah.
of cocaine.
So there's a cocaine monopoly. It's really interesting. I'm glad that they're setting up this world and what's going on. You are a band of, ghosts. They get dropped behind enemy lines to take out all of these. And once again, a Ubisoft game where you go from the bottom and you work all your way to the top. And then the guy that's the top guy, a little weird, got a cross tattoo thing on his
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I think that's a little too much.
Looks like Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's a little too much, but it is what it is. I also put on here the open world is ginormous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
they
is.
panned out and they showed like just this small like area where a lot of like the heart of the cartel is, and they just keep panning out, and I'm like, geez, Louise, that's ridiculous.
So Ubisoft is always pushing and pushing and pushing to be bigger and bigger and on their open world stuff. And
They do it better than anybody else, I feel. Almost better than everybody else.
They definitely have the pedigree of making these gigantic worlds and at least making you gawk at them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
all the worlds sometimes are.
Amazing. But
Yeah, they're not amazing, or they don't breathe life into it to make it interesting.
A lot. They can make the area work and all of that, but it doesn't feel lived in. Like
Right.
it feels like it's just a
Desolate.
computer programming it and everything. I think the best that's been at that yet has been The Witcher.
Yeah,
CD Projekt Red
exactly.
is the best at the open world right now.
But it's coming out March.
Yep, March 7th, 2017. And hope to God you don't play as Weaver because it sucks to be Weaver.
Yeah, they were
Now-
showing him, and they was like, he was like the last man to leave the base, and I'm just like, hey guys, wait
He
for
had
me.
to like kill like 4 people to get out. But the gun mechanics and everything look super cool. You're able to use your binocular type thing that's been able to mark your targets and everything, and you're able to see, you know, how many people's there. And like most Ubisoft games, it relies heavily upon stealth. So if you're going to be at a party with someone, make sure that they know how to play a little bit of stealth. You don't want them running into the town.
So you don't want to rob you on your team.
Yeah.
I'm stealthy as crap.
Sure you are. No, I'm just kidding. You do pretty good at it. I'm looking forward to it. I think this game will be really good.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you've got a squad. I'm curious to see how it works if you play alone.
Yeah, that's the big thing, because they said, you know, it was originally what was just like 2 people, and they started out with in the demo, and they scouted the area and it's like, we're going to need some help, and calling backup like, do you have to have 4 different people, or can you just at least call in AI?
Like,
Yeah, if there isn't a way to get your AI people in, then that will work. If, you know, I'm curious to see if that's part of the game or not, because we all saw that we could play the Division by ourselves. Some things were harder than others, but if it's where we can get the AI in to do the different tasks, even kind of like, you go back to Ghost Recon, it was...
Future Soldier?
Yeah. You know, you had a team of 4, you get to command them and move them and all of that. That would be interesting to see. So I'm hoping that would be there. Then a game that we didn't even think, didn't even, for some odd reason, didn't even think about this game. And I know you had it in your notes.
Yeah.
And we didn't even think about
The
it.
first one was actually, I mean, I'm not into the whole series. I didn't play the first one, but apparently the first one was fantastic. So the sequel to it looks like it's going to be even bigger. And that what we're talking about is South Park, the Fractured but Whole.
Yeah, WHOLE. Not like...
Not B-U-T-T,
Not
but B-U-T.
the other side of
no,
your
it was
body.
like... It was B-U-T-T.
Was it? I thought it was
Yeah.
B-U-T.
No.
It was spelled exactly like what you would say it.
But, like, your butthole, but there's a W instead of hole, instead of, like, the whole group type deal.
Your backside.
I was further away, so...
So this one's pretty interesting. Instead of the medieval, you know, like fantasy role-playing game that was the first one, Stick of Truth, it's the day after you become king and all of that, and they've decided to play superheroes. And I think that's really cool, because the only time that I really spent time watching South Park, of course I've watched episodes here and there, but the one that I got the most invested in is this storyline where it's Coon and Friends. I know it's going to be different than the TV show, but Coon and Friends was the funniest thing, I thought, you know, with Cartman getting Cthulhu, and Cthulhu was like, it was just really cool. So getting to see that, and getting to see the new powers, the new class systems.
They unveiled at least 3. I don't know if they'll have more, but they
It
unveiled
looked
at
like
least
they had
3.
a 4th one, they just didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I want to say, this is not, don't quote me on this, I think they said there's 12.
Huh. I can see it being...
It was like 3 over here.
Yeah, they just showed a few of them.
Yeah, so the 3 that they showed was the Brutalist, the Blaster, and the Speedster. So the Brutalist is, of course, you know,
Your tank.
a brute. Blasters, you're shooting laser beams, and the
Your soldier.
Speeders, is your, you know, quick guy. So they have improved, because in the first game you were on 2 opposite sides, and you stayed there, and you just picked the person that you're going to be going against. I like that they added space where there's different blocks you can get around your enemies if you spend your points and all of that to do different tactical positions. You can kick them in the groin, etc., etc. You can get behind them, you can get behind cover, so you take less damage. So they actually put a lot of thought into this, because they could have just turned around and gave us the same exact game, but with the superhero powers.
Yeah, just the same mechanics, but just with a different storyline behind it.
And I feel like, you know, me not really ever watching too much South Park, except for with Derek, Jake, and Willis and all them when we were in high school and stuff. I didn't play Stick of Truth, didn't care for it very much, but what would draw me in for this one is, like you said earlier, the superhero behind the Coon and Friends is something that would probably draw me in, because it does look cool. Like, I was thinking that it would just be like kids play pretend, but it actually shows them like using some of the powers and stuff. So I was like, okay, and it made me kind of flip my script on it a little bit. I'd have to look more into it, but it definitely looks fun. Yeah, and the humor's hilarious as usual.
Oh yeah, well, on fleek on that with Trey and Matt writing the script.
It's lit. It's mad lit.
There's also time. They don't really go into
all that
a lot of this, but time, your farts can rupture time.
Yeah, so basically change the turns players go or whatever.
Well, and one thing that I thought was cool, if you buy the game today, anytime you buy the game, I'm talking about Fractured Butthole, you will get the
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth. So if you want to play Stick of Truth right now in preparation for Fractured Butthole, that's so weird that it's Fractured Butthole. But then you can do that by buying the Fractured Butthole and get the Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole.
And it was actually one of the few games that came out that was only like last gen only, that came out during the new console cycle, that wasn't ported over to HD. So this is their way of fixing that.
Yeah. So you can play it on the Xbox One, the PS4, and I want to say they said PC as well.
Yeah, PC.
The new game, Fractured Butthole, will be out December 6th.
So be sure to get your Fractured Butthole.
Out a lot sooner than the first game, but then again, the first game, because it was originally owned by
development.
Yeah, because it was originally owned by THQ before they went under.
So quickly, we'll go through the Division. They hit a little bit on the underground stuff. I already knew that.
Yeah.
It will be coming out June 28th. They did give us a release date on Xbox One.
And August 2nd on PS4.
Yeah, June 28th, Xbox One, PC, August 2nd. The console to end all consoles. And if you get the underground expansion, you get 3 new outfits. It's all about the outfits in this game. It's like a fashion show. You get a Ghost Recon one, you get Splinter Cell, and then you get a Rainbow Six one.
Now, see, I never really cared. Like, the people were like, oh, I need the purple pom-pom beanie. Never cared about that. I was like, get me a gun so I can kill you and your purple pom-pom beanie. I was like, I don't care about any of that.
Like, I understand, like, there's a draw between Destiny. When you change your gear, it changes what you look like and everything, and some gear looks better than others. But in the same time, you could have, like, the same gear and wear the same outfit the whole time. And that's a little weird, but it's good at the same time. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that.
They gave a little bit of that when they said, because for the Ghost Recon and the Rainbow Six, it was the latest iterations in those. Like, it was Ghost Recon Wildlands and Rainbow Six Siege. So when they showed off Splinter Cell, I'm like, there it is, and they're gonna unveil the new Splinter Cell. But all it was just tease.
Little tease.
But they did talk about the next DLC that will be coming out later on, and that survival there is a blizzard and
Heavy storm.
a rumor of a cure for the Black Friday virus. Not much. Got a CG trailer.
Yeah.
That's really about it.
I mean, the idea behind it definitely looks cool, because you're already in not a post-apocalyptic New York, but you're in a New York that has been devastatedly hit by some kind of disease that's killing people. So with the blizzard coming in on top of that, stuff was already scarce to find, food and stuff like that. So with having that come in and making things harder, you'll rely way more on your teammates than what you already do, and you already rely on them a lot.
I mean, it's not hard enough that you already have everyone, all these different factions losing their minds, burning people alive, like just raping and pillaging. Now you got the environment to worry about and keeping yourself, alive.
I'm hoping that the environment actually plays into, like, if it's cold outside, you stay outside, you start losing health.
Yeah.
You got to get, something like that to make it a little bit different. Eagle Flight, and then Star Trek VR, fall 2016.
These were their two, like, VR-centric, just like I think it's going to be a theme throughout the whole E3 this year. Is like with the exception of I think EA so far. Like at least every conference has mentioned something VR related, and like Bethesda last night talked about Doom and Fallout 4 coming to VR, HTC Vive. And now we've got Ubisoft. Like they mentioned Eagle Flight at, I want to say either it was Sony Paris Games Week's conference back in October. That's when they first unveiled this game, and now they unveiled that Star Trek VR game. So they're doing new ideas. They're not just bringing out games they've already put out.
Exactly. And Star Trek looks interesting. You get a group of people with all these headsets, and this game's available on all major headsets. They didn't say what the major headsets were, but I'm assuming it's going to be PSVR, Oculus Rift, and Vive.
HD, yeah.
But it was pretty interesting controlling the ship. I wonder if you can play it by one person.
Yeah.
It seems like it's more of a party game. That's a really expensive party, and I bought Rock Band, so I know what expensive party games are.
Plus, it didn't look.
It did not.
No, it wasn't impressive. Eagle Flight was definitely more impressive, and
it was not supposed to look good. Like
No.
Eagle Flight.
Yeah.
ow.
And then we already talked about For Honor, Grow Up.
Yeah, which is the sequel to Grow Home, which was pretty much, I guess, a sleeper hit. Like it was one of the first times where Sony, for their PS Plus program, lets you vote on the game, one of the games you wanted to have free, and Grow Home was like the winner of that, and apparently it was a very popular hit, and it warranted a sequel, which is surprising because Grow Home hasn't been out that long, has it? Because I want to say it was the free game back in the fall.
Yeah, it's been less than a year.
Yeah, it's definitely been at least 6 months because I want to say it was either the free PS Plus game for August or September.
Yeah. And then, excuse me, guys. Then we had Trials of the Blood Dragon.
Yeah, they had the head guy over when they did Far Cry Blood Dragon, and then the head guy of the Trials games, and he's like, this is what it would be like if they had a baby, and both of us looked at each other like, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
And it was definitely not what we were expecting.
No, not at all. Interesting game. It is out today on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. So if you've enjoyed Trials Fusion and if you enjoyed Blood Dragon, check out the trailer and see if it's something that's going to be up your alley.
It's definitely the Trials game. To put it in layman's terms, it's the Trials gameplay mixed in with like the 80s stylized action trailer shoots of what Blood Dragon was when it first came out.
And then I think the biggest game out of the Ubisoft conference was this one, which is Watch Dogs 2.
Definitely going to be the thing they push. I mean, it's pretty much the only thing they have coming out holiday now, but it's definitely going to be the one they give the most marketing to.
Yeah, and rightfully so. The game looks fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like, don't be surprised if it makes that Assassin's Creed 1 to 2 jump. And everything you saw was definitely like I said, all the gameplay showed like instead of being GTA with a vendetta objective, it's more like Mr. Robot, and you're freeing these people from this corrupt politician, and it's pretty much your own group of street gang that's doing their own thing to liberate the place. And the biggest thing is, the hacking is still there, but you also have this helper bot too, and he can pretty much be a rotor drone to do recon, and then he can be like the little guy who just zooms in, like R2-D2 that just zooms in and just. It's like, all right, I need to hack into this thing. Do it for me.
Yeah. And I mean, it was super cool, like the RC car thing, driving and popping up and sticking everything,
And then plugging the cord in.
I was like, that's freaking insane. Like, it's so cool, and the little bola weapon thing that he has is pretty cool. Not Ebola, but the bola, the little string with the billiards at the end.
Ebola. He has it as a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, he's found a way to weaponize it. But it's super cool because, it always shows, it's a fight of the little man against, I told you I was rolling with it.
I just thought it was funny.
I was like, I'm not even going to fight it anymore. But it's super cool because you have the little man going up against the big corporate organization that's pretty much turning people into like mindless drone type things. So, little man stepping up is always pretty cool to watch.
And the big thing was, they made him more like he's more of an urban street guy this time around. His name's Marcus Sullivan. I want to say his last name, but his definitely name is Marcus. He's definitely, the parkour looks amazing in this game.
Yes.
Like him just jumping around. It was fantastic, and I hope it adds more verticality to it too. Like it's just not just you're just on the streets, or like you have to go up the top of the building.
Upstairs and all that to get up to the top of the building. I think it's going to be a huge step for them. It kind of goes to the parkour. I said it looks great, and it should look great because they make Assassin's Creed. There's no reason that their movement system should be so limited.
Yeah.
And looking at Mirror's Edge Catalyst, you have to push so many buttons to just be able to run and all of this. I think this is, okay, I'm hitting X while I'm running, or I'm holding R2. Back in the day, when I played Assassin's Creed, you had to hold the right trigger or R2 and hit X and all of this. Now it's just like, oh, you just hit X and you start
push
climbing.
the button.
And I'm just like, you got it lucky, people.
Yeah.
Looks great. Like all the gadgets, some of his new techniques and everything.
Character
really
is definitely more interesting this time around than Aiden Pierce.
Yeah. The whole, they're trying to, stop this government official, this, election from taking over because, it's more of an interesting thing. Yes, his daughter dying and all of that was,
Sad, but
it
Marcus actually has personality to him. It's like, he's got his, he's a younger guy, so he's bringing that sort of like street lingo to the game, but he has a purpose. He has an objective where Aiden's just like, I gotta kill the guy who killed my daughter.
Yeah.
Swear to me. So.
The game will be out November 15th, 2016 for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
And speaking of PS4, I kind of thought they would save this for the Sony conference, and we'll talk more about that in my pre-conference predictions. But they kind of went ahead and just said, because they did exclusive content first on PlayStation, the first game, so they just kind of kept rolling with that. Because if you saw the demo, it was running on PlayStation 4 because you could see the prompts for it. But all the DLC, instead of just doing exclusive missions, they says because they do season passes. Ubisoft is notorious for doing season passes for all their games.
Everybody is notorious for it now.
But now they openly said that PlayStation 4 players will get all DLC packs a month before everyone else.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
A good way for, PlayStation to get something on that. I think tonight at PlayStation, they will show something that's exclusive.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or because what they didn't say, which was interesting, is there's a pre-order bonus on the website I was looking at, where, and granted, my big thing is I'm not a fan of day one DLC. Like I just think it should already be in the game if you do it for pre-order. But at least the concept is cool. What the pre-order bonus is they're going to have a modern day version of the Zodiac Killer, and you have to hunt him down.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, so they will have a mission set around the Zodiac Killer. So at least they're making it interesting and give people a reason to pre-order it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the day one DLC has always been kind of looked down on, but if it's a special mission or whatever, it kind of feels like, oh well, they're making me pay more for something that I should already have in here.
Yeah, like skins or weapons or whatnot. It's whatever because those are early on lots. I don't have a problem with that. It's like if you do story-based stuff though, it's like it should already be in the game.
Yeah.
But I do like that. I did already went ahead and thought that Watch Dogs 2 would have an exclusive deal with Sony, and they just jumped the gun early, but I didn't think they'd do the Call of Duty and Battlefield thing where everything would come a month before the other ones, especially since I don't know if then that says to me, I wonder how much multiplayer they're going to add in, like any new multiplayer content, or if it's just going to be story.
Hopefully it's more story stuff.
Oh, I mean, at least one mission, at least one pack will be story. I just don't know how much.
It seems that they're taking a note from Division on teaming up with people and everything. I'm curious to see what the co-op side of this game will be. If you could do the story missions with other people, or will that count towards anything? Blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah. So I like Watch Dogs, and they even confirmed that the next movie that they're making is going to be Watch Dogs. So they're making Assassin's Creed. We kind of skimmed past that, but.
Well, we already said that it was going to have stage time.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs movie, that's going to be interesting to see. I think it would be a very good movie to make very
And-
easy to make, I think.
And I think if they keep with what they do with Assassin's Creed and make it its own thing, not just base it off of the first game or the second game, because when they first announced Assassin's Creed and I saw the original pictures, my first thought was, all right, so are they going to do this based on the actual first game and have it be Altair? But when that first big trailer that explored more of the movie came out, it was its own original thing. So
Yeah.
if they do that with Watch Dogs, because no offense, I already played Aiden Pierce. If I have his boring self in the movie, I'm gonna walk out immediately. So
Yeah.
as long as they do their own original thing with Watch Dogs, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, they also announced a limited edition that will be coming with the little radio robot.
Yeah, with the little droid that you saw in the trailers. Probably going to be super expensive. Like I'm thinking $200 because now it depends. Like if it's just a replica and it doesn't do anything, then
No,
maybe
they said it
was.
it was a
remote
replica.
control or
Okay,
something.
that's going to be upwards of $200.
Yeah,
Bet
I wouldn't
easy.
doubt it at all. You know what would have been nice to get as a limited edition?
A hacking cell phone.
No, that Batmobile that we never got from Batman Arkham.
I'm
Knight.
just now getting over that. Why did you have to reinvigorate my anger for
I'm
that?
just saying it's probably not going to happen. And then we had Steep, and we already kind of talked about that. It'll be coming out in December, and then it will be going into a beta very soon. Last impressions of the Ubisoft conference. What did y'all think?
It was definitely longer, and I think because if you couldn't all tell, we definitely look like we're about ready for a nap. But it definitely went on longer than we all anticipated. Like it's used to always be an hour, where they took an extra hour this year. And while there was some good stuff, there was a lot of stuff we didn't care about. I
Yeah.
think overall, I mean, let's be honest, it's still better than EA's, but
Exactly.
it's a C plus. I mean, Bethesda right now, as far as third party, definitely took the cake with their content. But I did like the three biggest things were Recon. Definitely, it was Ghost Recon because that's the one I'm looking forward to.
Wildlands.
Yeah, Wildlands, and then it was Watch Dogs 2 definitely showed a lot, and it definitely looks like they're actually believing it this time, not just kind of being hit. Whereas the first one, where they just seemed like they were hesitant, and that's why they kept pushing it back. And then For Honor, and they're actually making the story in this game making people care about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome lineup for Ubisoft. Them taking a year off of Assassin's Creed, making the movie, I think it's going to breathe some fresh air into it, and they're getting extra time to develop something that can be something totally new and
I'm hoping they
interesting.
add something new to it.
Yeah, it was too long. That's my biggest takeaway from it.
I also agree it was super long because we're used to it being an hour and everything like that. I also thought that it was very weird that it didn't have anything besides the Assassin's Creed movie trailer, no mention of the game.
Because I was fully expecting it to be like, hey, here's the movie. Oh, and while you're thinking about this movie, while it's already in your mindset, here's the teaser for next year's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I felt like it could have been a lot better than what it was. Like you said, there was a lot of the games that I didn't care for, so they did good, but it could have been better.
I think it would have been better. I mean, it wouldn't have put it above Bethesda, in my opinion. But if they had ended with their one more thing, would have been something that was actually. I mean, yes, in the grand scheme of things, Steep was cool, and it's something that hasn't been done for a while, but it's something that put you practically to sleep during the conference.
Yeah, I was falling asleep during
But if they had ended with a Splinter Cell or with a
Yeah.
new Prince of Persia or even with Beyond Good and Evil 2 or even a Rayman, the next Rayman game, it would have definitely been a higher point. But I think it's because they ended with something so as random as Steep. It was definitely brought it down.
But it's our new IP.
Yeah, I think if they would have cut it down to an hour and condensed it, it would have been a much more impressive conference. Put Steep in the middle.
Yeah.
That would have been better. And end with Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Or end with For Honor. Either one of those would have been a lot better to end with. Taking away from this, Ubisoft, solid job. Not as entertaining. But Aisha Tyler, not as annoying as she was.
Yeah.
There's,
She-
at least there's
it
some
was-
things to be thankful
It
for.
was funny because we're all sitting there like, at least she hasn't said girl wood yet. And then as soon as she's like, I've got a little wood, and Zach's just like, I'm done. I'm out.
I took my mic off and I was like, I'm gone. I'm going over here. But guys, we'll be doing our Sony press conference prediction show at 7:30. Yeah, I got that one right. 7:30, and then Sony will be going live at 8 o'clock. We'll be hosting it on our Twitch channel, so come back and watch that. Watch our post show as well. After it, I'm sure that one will be a lot longer because Sony's going to tear it up. I am 100% positive on that.
That's gonna be a 2 hours we actually can bear watching,
Yeah,
exactly.
I won't fall asleep.
Yeah.
and we'll have food in us.
If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know what you thought about the Ubisoft conference. What was your favorite part? What did you take away from it? Where do you think Ubisoft is going? If you're watching on Twitch, go ahead and hit the follow button so when we go live, you know when we're live. Yeah. Also, where can they find us on social media, Robbie?
We're all over social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even Snapchat here and there. All in the Nerd Cave Network. You just search our name and we'll be there.
Okay. So, guys, this has been Zach.
Derek?
And Robbie.
Have a week.